How's it going, everybody? My name's Nick from Hobby Extreme, and we got one more day till we go to Great Lakes. So things that we have to do today to try to prep, we have one thing is my carburetor for the Flex came in. So we're going to go ahead and replace the carburetor. We're also going to be doing a different receiver in the Flex, mainly because my dad stole the one that was in here. The one that he was originally going to use in his jet was this little 3-channel, 3-port receiver, just because he was using the Aura. But we couldn't really figure out how to make it work because he had flaps, gear, and everything. It was fairly complicated. There's definitely probably a way to do it, but we were getting a little confused with it. So he took the 9-channel that was in the Flex out and put it in the jet. So I'm going to use this 3-port, which actually should work just fine with my application for the Flex. So we're going to go ahead and replace the carburetor, program this guy to work with that, and we also have a little bit of programming to figure out with the Aura. Last time I programmed it, I didn't actually set the max and min throws on my ailerons to make the angle that I wanted. I did it for the rudder and elevator because I just got max that I wanted for the rudder and the elevator. But I want to make sure that I have about 38 up and down on my ailerons. And because I had 2 servos per aileron, it was a little bit more than I really wanted to do at the field. So we're going to go ahead and tackle that today. All we have to do to accomplish that is we're going to disconnect 2 of the outer servos on the ailerons. We're going to set the min and max to the angle that I want on the ailerons. Then we'll set that same throw to outer servos to make sure that it doesn't bind at any point of the throw. After that, tomorrow we're going to finish packing up. We're going to head out to Great Lakes tomorrow. We're about a 9.5-hour drive, so I'm looking forward to that. We should have a lot of fun at this event. We also got Brian's 2 airplanes back here that you'll see. So if you see those 2 big ones on the ground, those aren't mine. Those are actually Brian's. And I actually probably do have a surprise for him. So the other event that we went to, Freedom Fest, held by Full Throttle RC, he actually cracked up one of his wheel pants. And it just happens that I actually had the same airplane that he had before. And I have no use for these brand new wheel pants. So without even telling him, I'm going to slap these on there for him because his wheel pants are pretty cracked up. He has it all held together with Scotch tape just to make it look like that. But I'm pretty sure he's going to be fairly happy with having brand new wheel pants on there. All right, everybody, as you saw, we went in and finished up the programming and we placed the carburetor. So we're going to go in and finally, hopefully it runs this time. I have my lovely assistant to help me start this thing up. Always have a buddy with these. You don't want to play that game.
I was not expecting it on the first one.
Me neither.
Okay.
I think that I think the low end is slightly rich. Reason I say that is because the throttle response is a little like I give it throttle, it goes, and so it's a little delayed. So I'm probably going to lean out the low end, which is going to be the closest to the engine. You remember the high away. So the high end is away from the engine, low is towards the end. So I'm probably just going to put in the low end just like a 16th, like just a hair, just to help get with that with throttle response, and we should be good to go. All right, guys. Well, that was a success. A lot better than how it ran last time when you guys first saw we were going to try to maiden this thing. I suspected it was just a carb issue. It was, so we just replaced the carburetor, ran perfect. Whenever you're replacing a carburetor or running a brand new engine, you probably saw that it took a second for it to run. They would start up and then it would die out. All the diaphragms and everything are dry, so they have no fuel in it, so it's going to be very hard for it to suck fuel. Just be aware that the first couple times you're going to start the engine, it's going to like probably start up and then going to cut right off. Just keep working at it. Once the carburetor gets fully saturated and it's able to suck in fuel adequately, then it's going to run a lot better. Now, if you're having trouble starting and it will not start, the process that I usually go through with starting these engines are going to be, first, you got to make sure that your throttle endpoints are set. Whenever you're setting up a brand new engine or something like that, make sure that you set your endpoints in your transmitter to 0 so that you don't burn out a servo. Ask me how I know. I've done it twice now. When you power on, then go ahead and go full throttle, work up that endpoint till it touches, and do the same for the idle. You want to start it. Verify your ignition works, that the light comes on and turns off, so that if you have to cut it off, that works. It's a safety feature. Then, when you're ready to start, go ahead and choke it, full throttle, and then, as you saw me, burping it back and forth. You can hear it a little bit different when it starts sucking in fuel, and we actually can hear it. Usually about 5 seconds. Just 1, 2, 3, about 5 is enough for it to do so. Just back compression, like back and forth and bouncing it back and forth. Once you do that part, go ahead and unchoke it, throttle all the way back down to idle, crack it open just a hair, and then give it a try. If it is flowing out of the carburetor as you're spinning it and it's just dripping a bunch, step away from it, give it a second, and try it again later. It probably is just flooded. That's also why we don't want to just give it a bunch of throttle and start it up, especially on a brand new engine. You want it to give it up to temp before you start giving it a lot of RPM. Other than that, engine ran great. For tuning wise, like quick reference on stuff like that. High end is for RPM and temperature. Low end is for throttle response and starting. It's a very basic kind of premise on what you want to know. So if like you have the engine running and you're going full throttle and it's not getting the RPM you need it, it's too rich. Lean it out just a hair and then it should open back up. If it's not starting at all, it's very hard to start. Your low end is probably a little bit too lean, so richen it up a little bit. But low end is also throttle response. So as I showed out there is once I gave it full throttle, it kind of like so it took a second to get to that high RPM. We want a little bit faster throttle response to where it's not too much of a delay on that RPM. And to do that, it means my low end is just a hair too rich. It's going to make it a little bit easier to start, but I would rather have the good throttle response, spin it once or twice more than having a poor throttle response and start really easy. There's a lot better people that can describe tuning to you. That's just what I know so far and what I've experienced so far. Take what you want from it. I'm not gospel, but that's what's been working for me. So, only thing left to do is we need to just pack up because we are leaving early tomorrow morning. We got a 9.5 hour drive ahead of us. We're going to be going to Great Lakes and be showing you guys the real cool part of this hobby is going to be events, going to these big events, seeing people, making friends, and showing you how much fun one of these events can really be. So all we got to do is pack up all 4 airplanes, finish packing up the trailer, get it all situated. We're off to Great Lakes. All right, everybody. Well, the trailer is packed to the brim with everything. I'm not sure I could fit anything more in that stupid trailer. So thank God we did the work to it, because hopefully it's going to make this trip really nice for us. We're done for today. So next video, we're going to see you on the trip to Great Lakes. Thanks for watching. See ya.